Lions have a big game against the Minnesota Vikings today. Tom Lydon joins me from down in the studio. Lions Game Day Live coming up right after this. And Tom, what do you guys got for us planned for the pregame show?
You know, Justin, we got a lot of discussion because this game, quite frankly, has a lot of questions that need to be answered. We don't know whether or not Calvin Johnson and Reggie Bush are going to play. We can presume that they're not based on the lack of practicing over the course of the week. So how are the Lions going to adjust? Don't forget they got a new kicker. How's Matt Prater going to make an impact on this game? The Vikings are bringing back Teddy Bridgewater. He's only played in 2 games this year. If it's me, I'm dialing up the defense and I'm going after him all game. Rob Rupick is here. Herman Moore is here. We're set to discuss it for the next hour. Lions Game Day Live, not only on 7, but across the state on the Lions Television Network. Please join us. Send it back to Justin to wrap it up with the boys upstairs.
Hey, thanks so much, Tom. Appreciate it. We'll be tuning in. Hopefully my fantasy football segment goes a little bit better this week than it did last week. I have been getting killed by Solano lately. But, you know, I know, fantasy. How's your fantasy team doing?
Step it up. I quit.
You quit?
Yeah, cold turkey.
Cold turkey? How?
He must have been betting on the Falcons and the Lions.
One day at a time, you wake up, wipe the tear away.
Yeah.
Let's move on. All right, hey, I got a tweet coming in here from D. Brooks, if we could pull that up real quick. Let's be honest, Michigan stands 0 chance versus Sparty, even with an extremely lacking UM team. This is a bad team. I don't know about that. I got to disagree a little bit. Just watching what I've seen out of Michigan State the last 2 weeks, it's a rivalry game, and this reminds me of when the tables were turned years ago, when you were still playing.
Right.
You had the upper hand in the series. You were the more talented team, but every time you played State, they played you tough. They may have never beaten you, but getting to that point where you knew you should have beaten that team, but they were still close at some points of those games.
You look at those rivalries back then in the early 2000s and mid-2000s. Michigan State and Michigan had a lot of the similar talent. The problem was coaching.
Yeah.
We were a better coached football ball club, and that's what always held us through the end of the games, through the middle of the games, and through that rivalry, was we were a better coached team. Looking at the teams now, Michigan State's a better team so far this season and in the last 2-3 years. I mean, they make plays, they're consistent, they have an identity. So going into this game, moving that aside, you look at what Michigan did this week, you look at the bye week, the chance to prepare. Michigan State's lapses on defenses in the fourth quarter, it being a rivalry game. With all that being said, it'll be a game, it'll be something to watch, but I still don't know if my Wolverines can get over that hump in East Lansing.
Braylon, you're not going to be on next week because I got Keith Nickel and Matt Derry with me. We got to make a bet.
You tell me.
All right.
I'll still bet whatever.
The loser, if Michigan State wins, you got to wear some green and white. If Michigan wins, I'll wear maize and blue. We'll see you in 2 more weeks. Dan, thank you so much for joining us. Thank you for joining me on the Suburban Ford 7 Sports Cave.